Hello and welcome to another conversation about video games. My name is Mark and today we're joined with Rob.
Hello.
And today we're going to be looking at Gran Turismo. Is that correct?
No, it's Gran Turismo Sport.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with the old playground name for it, Granny Turismo.
No, because, I got told off because somebody actually has a granny whose name is, Turismo or something like that. So, yeah, Gran Turismo Sport, it came out not long ago, and I've been playing it, and I'll get this right out of the way. I've been playing it and bloody loving it.
Oh, well, that's good.
Right. See, not long ago, we did a conversation about Project Cars 2, right? And I said it's technical racer, and it's not. My criticism of it was that it wasn't arcadey enough,
Mhm.
And by that I meant it was too realistic. It was trying too hard to be a simulation, and so it kind of alienated the more, the more relaxed players like myself who aren't as heavily into racing games, and so we might have a decent setup, but we're not so enamored of them that we wouldn't go off and play other games for months on end instead.
Mhm.
And lo and behold, Gran Turismo has done the one thing that I wanted a game to do, which was find that balance between technical racer and arcade racer. There are very few games that I can say, in all honesty, have actually managed to do that. One of them was Grid 2 by Codemasters. And one of them was one of the old Talker games on the PS1. Gran Turismo has always been kind of one of those oddities in my book because it was neither a full arcade racer nor was it a full technical racer. It was somewhere in the middle, and Gran Turismo Sport, really wears its heritage proudly. It is a technical racer, but it hasn't lost its arcade roots. So when you're actually sitting there and playing the game, when you're racing, it feels fun to race. Whereas in Project Cars 2, you're having to fight the car a little bit. But again, because Project Cars 2 is aiming for realism, and Gran Turismo Sport, even though it's aiming for realism, they're kind of reining it back a little bit and saying, okay, we don't want it to be too realistic because, after all, this is a game.
Mm-hmm.
If people wanted to go and find out what a real race car is like to drive, they'll go out and drive a real race car.
Yeah.
This is the point I raised with Project Cars 2. But anyway, Gran Turismo Sport, 177 cars it has, or it did at the last count. And you get right into it. It's got a great tutorial set, right? And the tutorial teaches you everything from braking distances, when to brake, when to accelerate, all sorts of stuff like that. It's a magnificent teaching stage. You can dive straight into a single race. You've got access to loads of cars. You've got access to all sorts of customizations, changes of livery, changes of the, changes of your racing outfit, changes of the livery on your helmet, various things like that.
Oh, well, that's good, because, one of the things I remember from Gran Turismo 3, which was the last one I played, was how slow the game was when you first started it. You were only able to access a certain amount of cars until you obviously got better and better at the game.
Yeah, well, that is actually part of this as well, but they've formalized it in a big way by making a level system, right?
Right.
And so you get things like, if you've traveled a certain number of miles in a car, you'll get that added to your total mileage, so that is part of your experience, and then you'll also have your level, which is based on actual driving experience. So the higher you are in the final rankings, the more experience you generally get, right? And so what you have in Gran Turismo is kind of this wonderful hybrid of two extreme polar opposite types of racing game, right? But they've managed to work it so that the whole package really fits well, but there are some issues. The first issue is the big danger. The big danger when you are first starting. This is a huge issue, so pay attention. You might get lost.
Lost as in the menus, or
yeah, lost as in the menus. Right. There are menus in this, and there are so many menus. And I was sitting there just going through the menus, just tweaking customizations, and I was loving every single minute of it because I am officially a nerd. And the thing is, just the ability, just the fact that you have that kind of freedom, it makes this game a lot more accessible. When you're racing as well, it's always nice when you can actually win a race, and I won a couple of races. Obviously, I'd started off on beginner level, but I won a couple of races, and so I was bumped up to intermediate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that makes the game more challenging, because you basically got the different levels of difficulty. You can tweak the car setup. You can do everything that you can do in a technical racer to a degree, right? It's a lot more simplified in Gran Turismo. The explanations tend to be a little better in Gran Turismo Sport. As much as I love Project Cars 2, I was holding off on deciding which one would be my racing game of the year until I played Gran Turismo Sport. And I'm glad I waited, because Gran Turismo Sport, I've got to say, on the basis of what it is, on the basis of what it brings, because, you know, the developers have brought their A game.
Mm-hmm.
And
no, that's good. I mean, how is it graphically? I mean, I'm assuming with it being one of Sony's big titles, I'm assuming it looks pretty nice.
Visually, it is very nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Visually, it is extremely lovely. But again, we come back to this whole issue, this whole comparison with Project Cars 2, right? Gran Turismo Sport visually does look amazing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain environments, certain angles, certain ways that the car moves, the car reflects the light, that sort of thing, that are done a little bit better in Project Cars 2. And they're not really noticeable that much until you start looking at the videos compared to each other.
It's side-by-side videos.
Yeah, side-by-side videos. Once you look at those, you start noticing little bits as well. But aside from that, I've got to say, Project Cars 2 is a good game, right? But Gran Turismo Sport is a great game. It's actually, let's scale it up. Project Cars 2 is a great game. Gran Turismo Sport is a magnificent game.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, it's weird now that I'm talking about it, because I've been through races and the tutorial mode and stuff like that, and I've unlocked all sorts of additional things, additional tracks, additional livery, additional costumes, all sorts of stuff like that. They've all come from, achievements, and there are achievements in this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the achievements actually tell you how to achieve them, which is the great thing.
So is this achievements like separate to trophies, or is it kind of one and the same?
No, achievements that are separate to trophies.
Oh.
So, there's 2 levels of achievement you can do. It's the game, though, when you get on the track, right? If you pick the wrong car, then you're screwed, as always, right? There's no 2 ways about it. You get the wrong car, you're done. That's your race over. So you would never go into a race with Ferraris and drive a Renault Clio.
No.
Do you see what I mean? So
yeah.
That's something that wouldn't happen, and that's something that, you know, you'd change that before the race. But once you go up and once you learn more, you learn about braking distances, you learn how important the brakes are, things like that.
It sounds like it gets a lot more involved the deeper you get into it.
It is, and this is the thing. The learning curve, it's actually quite nicely staggered. It's actually quite nicely geared towards beginner players. It doesn't exclude more advanced players in favour of beginners, but it does take the time to explain to beginners what the hell is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for those reasons, it's my racing game of the year, I've got to say.
Oh, sounds good.
So yeah, that was Gran Turismo Sport. Leave us a comment below. Let us know your thoughts. This is The Geek Show. We are a podcast network as well. You'll find our podcasts, the links to them in the details below this video. We've also got other interviews and reviews on our YouTube channel, so check them out if you're of a mind. Until next time, I've been Rob.
And I've been Mark.
We'll see you all later.
Goodbye.